taste.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But anyway, what we're coming up with are measurements. I mean, is there a time, is there a place in the schedule when there's a ritual for connection? Mm-hmm. Is there an after-school environment that kids want to come back to? This is a checklist. Mm-hmm. It's a new kind of a checklist. Mm-hmm. You know, does your school have kids from the previous grade coming back to ask to do
I like this new grading
internship?
system.
Isn't this a great one?
Putting together. Well, that should be part of
Right.
the school's grade.
Well, what happens
Those
is
factors. You know, when they look at high school graduation and this and this. No, you know what? They really should look at those types of
we
factors.
come up with our list and send it around to other middle schools and say, you know, this is how we score. Right?
Well, let me tell you that the principal, I was in Liberty, I think, when I was at the Met, and the principal at that school, he and I had a sit-down time, and we talked for a while, and he introduced me to, I have it written down somewhere in my notes, but a book called NonCognitive Measurements. Mm-hmm. And it's
all social.
It's a whole book about how you begin to measure all those non-cognitive factors that, at least for our demographic, are the difference between making it and not making it.
Because eventually you get the cognitive if you get this base.
But you can't, I mean, the mistake is believing that you can do the cognitive without paying attention to the non-cognitive. And people believe that mistake because all your upper income demographic kids come in with the non-cognitive basically already taken care of. Yeah. So then they come in and at school they get the cognitive taken care of and it looks good, but that's not taking into consideration those kids who come in and don't have the non-cognitive addressed. And I say upper income, but it's not only upper income, because one of the things that I found interesting at the Met, one of the things I asked them about was their demographics, and he said they tend to get a mix of course, the kids who haven't made it.
They're at risk.
In the traditional system because of home factors, but also kids who haven't made it in the traditional system because of how they think, because they're divergent, non-conformative thinkers who don't want to be placed in. And some of those kids come from really well-educated families. Yeah. But they're just kids who they think in a different way, and they just don't work by being put into the box that traditional schools put you in.
Yeah. And you could see them. You could see how they are those odd kids that would normally have stood out in school, didn't have friends, where maybe just the ones that they thought were like quirky or weird, you know. But it's because they have that outside of the box way of thinking that they just didn't fit.
The kid that did my tour, I can't remember his name now. He was very good. Every kid I came across. Sebastian, that was his name. Every kid I came across, I asked, why did you choose the men? But when I talked to him, he said, because I've been gifted. I've always been gifted. I've always been in gifted classes, and I just could not stand the thought of another 4 years of going into classes and opening books and he said I couldn't bear that thought.
They're just gifted books.
Right. So and he said, his statement was, this was the best decision I ever made. This has made the difference in what my future is going to look like.
A great part of their success can be attributed to the performance aspect of the school, where the kids
exhibitions.
You
perform your understanding.
Exactly.
You perform it. You just don't write it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Got to stand and deliver.
So there's that pressure.
Positive pressure.
Positive pressure.
Yeah, right.
Plus, and the whole concept of, like you just said, performance assessment as opposed to standardized assessment.
That's right.
So these kids their performance assessments are happening at their internships, and they're real world performances. The kid that goes to an automotive shop has to put a motor together. I mean, what better assessment is there than putting a motor together?
One of
You
the
know?
kids designed one of the buildings on campus.
Oh, that was the coolest ever.
That was amazing. That was
Did you
amazing.
go to the gym when you were there? Okay, well, in the gym,
James class.
they had a
Rock climbing.
rock climbing center that was created by a senior. That was his senior project.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, and there's multiple examples of that school or that kind of thing. And, you know, that's what you're gonna get when you create the freedom to let
And you
people
build confidence.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
these kids, you know, they come up to us like little adults. And they talk to us like adults. They express themselves openly, freely, with confidence.
Confident.
Definitely.
And you know what,
And I think
Amy and
that's
I
what-
were talking earlier that one of the things that I saw, that I don't know if you guys saw, is that I was specifically, I sat in 2 different 9th grade advisories. And in the night, you don't see that confidence. And you don't see that,
It's not there yet.
really
It's not
higher
there
order
yet.
thinking and that kind of stuff in the 9th grade. I mean, I
It's
saw...
like our 6th graders, how you said
Yeah.
she has to mold
Right.
and model.
But in a lot of ways, that was so good for me to see, because it's not like these are magic hand-picked kids, or you know, it's like
It's not nitty-gritty,
it's
true
the
kids.
process, and I mean seriously, there was an all-girls group, and what we were talking about in the all-girls group,
We
like
saw them.
boyfriends and kissing and painting nails, and you know, like.
Girls being
Seriously.
girls.
Seriously, but you know, I'm sure that's the freshmen. As the years go by and as they become, I mean, it's just logical if you think about it. Now I have 3 or 4 or 5 girls who have all had different real world experiences at internships. What are they going to talk about? Their real world
Road
experiences,
experiences, right.
You know?
Yeah.
Their life doesn't revolve around high school. You
Around
know?
Nikes.
Because they're
Around
off,
Nikes, right?
they're off campus 40% of the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
2 days out of the week.
Yes.